Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into how a university managed to engineer a spectacular rise to the top, while at the exact same time sparking a crisis that threatens its very existence. We're looking at the story of Southern Methodist University, or SMU. This is a school that is having truly the best year of its life, while also staring down a massive identity crisis. It's a wild story. I mean, just look at this. In the last year alone, SMU has hit 3 incredible goals, stuff they've been working on for 30 years. They're a top-tier research school, they're in a major athletic conference, and they've raised a ton of money. But at the same time, 2 giant risks are looming that could unravel everything. So how in the world do they pull this off? Well, it definitely wasn't luck. It was a very deliberate, very powerful strategy that actually feeds itself. And we're going to break down exactly how this engine works. Okay, so it all starts with money, a lot of money. We're talking about a $1.5 billion fundraising campaign. It was designed specifically to fuel this huge national ambition. And they didn't just sit on that cash, they put it to work, funneling it straight into their academic programs. You can see they cranked up their research spending to almost $60 million. This was a critical first step to getting recognized on the national stage. And this right here, this is the secret sauce. It's like a flywheel. The money from donors boosts the academics, which earns them that shiny R1 research status. That academic street cred then gives them the justification to jump into big-time college sports, like the ACC. And all that national TV exposure, it makes the donors open their wallets all over again. See how it works? The cycle just keeps feeding itself. And if you want proof that this thing works, look no further. In just 1 week, 7 days, after the ACC announcement, a handful of donors kicked in an incredible $100 million. It was immediate, undeniable proof that the engine was humming. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? All this modern ambition, all this change, it slammed headfirst into the university's very old foundations. And now it has erupted into a massive legal fight. So for over 100 years, SMU and the Methodist Church were legally tied together, but in 2019, things got really complicated. The global church took a harder line on LGBTQ+ issues, and SMU's leaders basically said, whoa, that does not work for the kind of diverse national university we're trying to be. So they just cut the cord. And you guessed it, the church sued to get control back. And this is the core of the whole problem. How can you be owned and controlled by one specific church while also operating as a modern university that welcomes absolutely everyone? It's a fundamental contradiction. SMU's longtime president, R. Gerald Turner, put it pretty bluntly. He framed the break as a strategic necessity. He argued that if you want to recruit the best and brightest talent from all over the world, you just can't be legally tied down like that. So we've talked about the strategy, we've talked about the conflict, but what does this new, souped-up SMU actually look like on paper? Well, the numbers tell a really interesting story. This one's pretty telling. You know, for a school called Southern Methodist University, you might think there'd be a lot of Methodists. But nope, only about 11% of students who state a religious preference identify that way. It really just underscores how much the school has already changed in reality. And academically, wow, this student body is seriously elite. I mean, look at those test scores. A mid-range SAT well into the 1400s. That puts SMU right up there with some of the top national universities in the entire country. So is the strategy working? Are people noticing? Oh yeah. The moment they announced the R1 research status and the move to the ACC, applications went through the roof. A 56% jump. That is a massive signal that the brand is getting stronger. Of course, none of this happens without some serious financial muscle. And the foundation for all of this is a university endowment valued at over $2 billion. That's the war chest that fuels everything we're talking about. That huge endowment lets them spend nearly $1 billion every single year. That's the kind of money you need to really compete on the national stage, both in the classroom and on the football field. Which brings us right back to today. President Turner, the guy who masterminded this whole 30-year transformation, is stepping down. And his successor is walking into one heck of a situation. Incredible momentum and 2 absolutely gigantic challenges. So the new president, they get to inherit this powerhouse, right? An elite research school, a big-time sports program, applications flooding in. But their first two items on the to-do list are, number one, resolve a lawsuit about who actually owns the university, and number two, prove that you can actually afford to keep this high-octane engine running for the long haul. No pressure. So here's the bottom line. SMU has successfully built a new, elite identity for itself. They did it. But the battle to legally define that new identity and to financially sustain it, well, that's really only just beginning.